So now we're going to talk about drawing network diagrams. Drawing target network diagrams. So this gives valuable information about the network and its architecture to an attacker. The network diagram shows logical or physical paths to potential targets. So you can see the internet cloud there on the left, and then you have an intranet on that side of the internet. We have a router in front and then a firewall. Same thing on the DMZ. You hit the DMZ of a company, that's where all the servers are held. Email servers in this case, web server, we have a PHP server and an HTTP server. And then they have the actual intranet, the other LAN behind that DMZ zone. That's a pretty common configuration for a multi-homed company with more than one office location. Just keep in mind that the DMZ in this case is usually up in the cloud. All of your gear is hosted at a cloud provider today for the most part. In high security organizations, you may still see this configuration, but for the most part, these are hard separations between your intranets and your DMZ. These days, you may have one or two pieces of gear at smaller companies, but for the most part, they're separated and up in the cloud. So network discovery tool, network topology mapper. This is just another tool that does network mapping topology. There's some open source stuff if you're a coder. If you're a Python guy or gal, then you can certainly use it for that as well. Network discovery tools, Ops Manager, and Network View. You will see a question about Ops Manager, that it is a network discovery tool. Just look at the picture. I think they even show you the picture for this one. You know, what kind of tool is this? And you can kind of, maybe that'll jog your memory to say this is a network discovery tool. So here's some more. The dude, land state, friendly pinger, IPS sonar. And Spiceworks is pretty common. A lot of people use that, Spiceworks. We get a lot of people that come in and try to present that product. Don't hear too much about the other ones. So tools for mobile. We have Netmaster, Scanny, and Network Swiss Army Knife. So now we're going to talk about preparing proxies. Proxy servers. A proxy server is an application that can serve as an intermediary for connecting with other companies. So we have a client, a server, and we're going to create a connection between the two. Inside we have a proxy. In between we have a proxy. So my client connects to the proxy connects to the server. So now those connections are terminated right here, and in the middle lies the proxy. So everything traversing your gateway goes through a proxy, typically in any organization. They're very, very, very common, and some of them are very powerful machines or a complete array of machines that may analyze the traffic, it may filter it, it may reroute it to a honeypot or something like that, depending on what its findings are. You can also have a proxy on a LAN machine, and I like to draw a picture here, but I don't have a board. So just picture that you're inside of a computer, and what we have is a cloud, and then we have a machine. So we're going to connect to that cloud, which gets us out to the internet through the hardware in the machine. But when you have a proxy, you're going to have a hop in between. So we're going to create our initial connection. We're going to point it locally to the box on a different port. So this will just add a couple of ports to our machine. And what happens is we connect to one of those ports, and then that other port goes and connects to the internet. So as it comes in and connects to this port, gives us back the information through the proxy. We need to figure out whether we're going to block, allow, or just log, whatever it is we're doing with the proxy. And then it goes back to your application's port. And then is consumed by your application just as if the proxy wasn't there. So your traffic is being visibly viewed. All of the bits and bytes going across that wire are being heavily analyzed or scrutinized through a proxy typically. They're looking for who you're connecting to, which IP, and then they're going out and doing lookups. Is this IP good or bad? Is this DNS good or bad? You know, that kind of thing. And they're going to deny or allow based on the set of rules that they have in place. Typically, proxies are placed at egress points. Very rarely are they on the endpoints. You can set them up, but that's just in demo. So just be aware that proxies, typically in production, do not live on the endpoints. It lives at the egress point, the network gateway. Proxy chaining. So you can have a bunch of proxies in line. That's what we talked about. You can have a bunch of gear in between. You may have one hunting malware. You may have one. So the hunting malware is just looking for attachments, reassembling them, and then detonating them in a sandbox. And it'll allow the connection until it figures out it's good or bad. And then you have another one that's just looking at IP addresses. Then you have another one that's just looking at domain names. Really, all this can be done in one box or in a cloud. So you go one hop out in the cloud and then back, something like that. or you can have the box inline. One of them may be cracking open your SSL connection. So your SSL connections will terminate at that appliance, and then it'll go across the appliance, everything in between the appliances in plain text, and then that connection is then re-encrypted out to the original destination. So you can do a whole bunch of things, a proxy inline. You can have several different malware appliances, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. You could also chain these to different proxies around the world, right? So I could connect to one in China, I could connect to one in Beijing, Hong Kong, then over to Taiwan, then over to Afghanistan, and then to my destination, wherever it is I'm trying to go. If I want to hide my IP address, you could do that through a proxy. Because when you cross a proxy, you're hitting a LAN side, and then on the other side, or it could be anything, right? So you're hitting one side of it, one IP address, and on the other side, you come out as a completely different IP address. So a proxy tool, proxy switcher is one tool. Proxy workbench. Proxy tools like Tor and CyberGhost. Tor is called the onion router. This is a whole complex conversation to have. We'll probably do a blog on this or something, or another little separate video on how to properly use Tor. People think that you can hide on Tor. You cannot. Most of those servers are owned nowadays, and if you get into Tor and you're doing something criminal, somebody is absolutely watching you. You're an idiot if you think they're not watching you. So Tor I would consider that owned. I would not try to use that for obscurity. So Tor allows you to protect your privacy and defend yourself against network surveillance and traffic analysis. Well, yes and no, because it does create encrypted tunnels for you where regular HTTP might not. There's different plugins you can get that do like force HTTPS. So even if you type http something.com, it's going to rewrite it to be https.something.com, right? So this is what it stands for, the onion router. There was a time when this used to be the criminal underground. A lot of stuff still goes on under here, but 3 out of 5 people that you talk to are going to be police or FBI agents down in there. So you need to be very careful about what you use there. A lot of that stuff is monitored. Very little of it is not. So CyberGhost allows you to protect your online privacy, surf anonymously, and access blocked and censored content. It hides your IP and replaces it with one of your choice, allowing you to surf anonymously. This is just a VPN connection. VPNs are absolutely proxies. So that's how you can think of them. So just be careful if you're trying to really do criminal stuff. You shouldn't be doing that anyway, but if you think that you really have anonymity with Tor, you better be very suspicious of that. So another list of proxy tools, obviously Fiddler, Burp Suite, these are big ones. You will absolutely need to know these. Fiddler 2 is the new version that you'll use. Charles Proxy is another one. You'll see a test question about Charles Proxy, Burp, and Fiddler.